right, so I have been just cleaning this thing, getting this thing to look somewhat decent when I start working on it. Over here you can tell this is how the 3 points supposed to look, and if I'm showing you something like this, that means there's something not right. So yeah, it looks like these bolt on to the transmission there. And if you go gander on this side, yeah, not looking good. So I think that they bolt on, so I'll look for this piece. My buddy does have a parts rig. Maybe I can buy it off of him. Maybe he doesn't want to separate it. But yeah, that's not good. So that holds on to this. And this was bent. I don't know if you saw that in the first video. I did end up bending it back straight. And yeah, there's no chunks around my driveway. I did end up cleaning my driveway up, and yeah, that happened beforehand. So that was not caused by me. So let's remove this real quick. So yeah, that's not good. So I'm gonna see if he has another one. See if my buddy can part that out for me. But take that off, and yeah, that's not good. So like, I'm looking in here, it looks like this bolts in to the center section. Looks like this unbolts. So hopefully I can get a new one of those, or send this off to a machine shop to get that on there properly. So not good, not good. That will set us back a little bit. But I think I can get it running and driving beforehand, but obviously I'd like to get that fixed before we get this thing running and driving. So yeah, that's not good. That is not good. Did not see that until the wheels came off. So it's a little unfortunate, but I am into this thing so cheap. So yeah, I'll message my buddy, see if he can part ways with half of it torn out. And if he doesn't feel comfortable, then I'll take it out and see if we can go to a machine shop, maybe either make this whole axle piece, because it is cast, or if you can like TIG weld cast or something. I do not know. So yeah, that kind of unfortunate, but you know, all well, it's whatever. So we'll look into that more, and I'll get to the parts diagrams, the manuals, and see how exactly that works out. So kind of sucks, a little setback there, but you know, whatever. You know, you don't come across this too often. So all that eliminates is the 3-point. To be able to use 3-point, the rest of the tractor we can still use. So it's not like it's a major component, thank goodness. But yeah, I don't think it could use the 3-point very well with that like that. So we'll see. I'll come back to you when I know something. I'm gonna just take off this 3-point for now, and start diving into the manual, see how this works, and hopefully that these do separate, and that we can get that fixed up or replaced. Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome back to another vlog day. All right, so this is the beginning of the FF24 engine start, trying to get it running video. And as you can see, it is on a jack stand, cinder block, no wheels on it. So yeah, I got the current tires off of it, and I'm got new tubes coming in. So we'll just tube these tires for now, get this thing on a rolling status so we can get it right into the garage. So first things first, let's get tubes, let's get tires, let's get this thing rolling so we can get it in the shop. And then I did take some side panels off to start cleaning the engine, as you saw, and got that all cleaned up enough to work on it. So yeah, that's first thing first. And then obviously I think I showed that one of the axle tubes is damaged for the 3-point hitch setup there. So that is unfortunate, but that is the first thing to tackle, is to get wheels on this, get it in the shop, get that transaxle either unbolted out of there so we can get that axle tube and figure out what we're going to do there. And then in the meantime, while I'm trying to sort that out, we can get straight onto the engine. In the meantime, see if we can get this thing started up and running, and then we'll worry about that axle tube. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm excited. Let's get this thing running. I've been itching to see what this thing sounds like and what it feels like to drive. I got it into the shop here. The things I did off camera, behind your back, I know, I'm sorry. I got brand new tires for the rear. Brand new, old, but new looking. So yeah, I got some guy threw up some tires. These are the OEM tires that you would have gotten with the FFs. So I got 2 of them. I only needed the one on this side. This one was fine, and the tube was fine. I did get a couple tubes, and I put a new tube in that one. So yeah, they're holding there, they're fine. And yeah, that was enough to get it into the shop here. And I think yeah, you're updated on the discoveries I made with the transaxle. So with that happening, I hit up my buddy in New Hampshire that luckily gave me a bunch of parts, or sold me a bunch of parts that I got for this thing. And he's actually going to sell us a parts rig. So I'm buying a second FF. So I'll be buying a FF20. I'm not sure what's usable and what's not usable. So yeah, we'll just make the trip out there and we'll go get that. So I'll make sure that clip is in here as well. And yeah, we'll go out and grab that, and hopefully that will supply us with the parts that we're missing as we dive deeper into this. So yeah, we'll see if I can convince him to sell that plow, if it's the right plow. So every time I go, I'll bother him, knock him down, see if he's willing to sell it. So yeah, kind of took a bunch of stuff off the front here, getting prepared to start tearing into this engine. First things first though, I'm just gonna throw a battery and see what it does, and see if we just go from there. Maybe it will start and we don't need to tear it all apart. I did tear enough off to clean it, but yeah, I'll flip the hood up, take that grill off, and inspect the whole thing, make sure it has the correct amount of oil, do a new oil and oil filter, get a battery on this and see what happens. Maybe we'll get lucky enough where it just turns over. Again, the guy I bought it from didn't even touch it yet, so he got the story from the people he bought it from, and then he just bought it and stored it, kind of like what I've been doing now. So I've owned this thing for a couple weeks now and just haven't done anything with it. So I've had a lot of projects in front of this. So yeah, it's in the shop though. I'll start making progress. I'll get my wheel lift under there, get it up off the ground there. And one thing is for sure that I do have to tear out that rear axle. So to make sure that this 3-point gets on there legitly. So that does have to happen. So regardless if it starts and runs, that has to get done. But other than that, this thing is awesome. I love this thing. It's so massive, and it does fit on this side of the shop. So that's also a bonus. So yeah, so the start of the FF is in progress, and yeah, we'll continue going from there. I will be doing a paint job. This, I believe it was supposed to be a silver. This is more like a flat gray. So yeah, I think it's supposed to be a metallic-y silver color. So we'll definitely make sure we do that. And but again, before paint, we have to make sure it's proven itself and tested. And yeah, the whole goal with this thing is just to have a just like the start of the 400 series. Like 400 series John Deere is about this size. So this was kind of just a cheap way to dabble into that, see if this was a good decision or not. So we'll see if I like this kind of tractor. I'm gonna just keep this around as a spring, summer, fall kind of tractor, you know, do some yard work with it because it has that category 0 hitch, 3-point hitch. So definitely we'll keep it for that. Winter, you know, I got my 2 winter rigs. So that's kind of gonna stay that way. I'm kind of spoiled with the cab, so there's no reason to use this thing with no cab. I did get the, you know, the snowblower and everything. We'll try it out, obviously, but you know, I have those as my dedicated rig. So yeah, if I need to do dirt work, I have the Category 0 3-point hitch, so we can do some light dirt work with it. I got the mower deck, so we can do mowing with it. This thing will mow my yard in 2 seconds with the size that it is. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan with it. Have some fun with it. I heard the hydraulics are slow and that the front, middle, and rear are all controlled at the same time. So not very desirable, I think. So, but the fact that it's here is pretty cool, and we'll test it out and we'll make our own thoughts and opinions on it. And no one's videoed this thing. I've been looking for content on the FFs. There's just not a lot on YouTube. So here you go. If you are a FF enthusiast, definitely comment down below what you want to see done with this thing, because there's nothing for videos, and the videos that you do see are from 8 to 10 years ago. So yeah, if you have anything, let me know, and yeah, we'll make sure we do them.
Many months later.
All right, so let's get to work on the FF24 here. Stuff smells varnished. So I did want to just throw a battery on here real quick. I'll show you what it does. Starting procedure. You got to shove this into neutral here, and then so it does do something, which is cool. But I'm noticing that it is pumping fuel. But make sure this is off, because. But yeah, it's pumping fuel, so we got to figure out where that's got to go. So let's take this whole tin off and see. Alright, with that off, we get a better look. Alright, and yeah, right there. So I believe this fuel line goes from here to there. So got fuel line in bulk. Which looks like that will work. So yeah, this went on for several more minutes. I will not bore you with this, but I was just doing my normal diagnosing, trying to listen to the engine, see what's going on with it. We're supplying fuel. I'm seeing fuel come out of the carburetor. I'm seeing what I think is smoke coming out of the exhaust. So maybe just giving it some revolutions will get this thing to start up. And then I started realizing that maybe we're not getting spark. So that's when I will continue with you now. Now, it doesn't have spark, and it would be pretty obvious that it's probably the points or something. I don't know where the points would be on this engine, but I have a coil sitting around, so I'd rather just replace that really quickly, see if that's the issue or not, because that's like the easier option right now. I think I got fuel misted into my eyeball, so that sucks right now. But I have a coil sitting around, so I'm gonna do that right now. Because it is the easier option for me. I don't know where the points is. It's probably up front. It usually would be right there, but I don't see it. Oh, it's right here. All right, so let's do this real quick and then we'll look at the points. So this is probably not needed. Actually, screw that. Let's put this back on. Let's mess with the points real quick. I don't think the points are even touching. I think the points have to be adjusted. So yeah, that's exactly what needed to happen. So for some reason, the points were out of spec. They were not touching. So if you're not familiar with points, there's two pads that move with the cam, I believe, and they go up and down. It's two pads that separate and they create a spark back and forth. So when those two pads don't meet properly, they can't, I think, pass a current or whatever. Don't quote me. All I know is there's this little thing that goes up and down and they have two pads. Usually they're corroded and you have to sand them down. And then once they can create a current through it, it makes a spark. And in this case, they weren't even touching. So it was just going up and down without touching each other. And that's a big problem. So I adjusted it, still nothing. I sanded them forever, still nothing. Ended up replacing the coil with the known good one that I had, and I finally got spark. And you can just have the key on the on switch, and you can separate the pads yourself. You don't have to turn it over, and you should be able to create a spark. And once you can create a spark, then you should be getting spark at your spark plugs. So that's exactly what happened. I think I messed around with probably 15 or 20 minutes with it, and sanded it a bunch, thinking that was a problem, and then I adjusted it. There should be an adjustment screw. If you can't figure it out, it should be in your manual how to adjust, and that's exactly what I did. So yeah, that was the problem. Definitely, I think both the coil and the points were the problem child on this, and that's probably one of the big possibilities that it stopped working and someone put this machine to the side because the points just got out of an adjustment. So yeah, they were huge. I had to turn the adjustment screw a lot. Usually it's just fine movements with it, but no, this one was hugely out of spec, and I'm kind of curious why. I don't know if they just fall out. I mean, you got to realize that this machine is almost 44 years old now, so a lot of things are going to start needing some maintenance. So it's crazy how old these machines are getting. So yeah, just a real quick adjustment, new coil, and let's continue from there. Oh, we got it. Points needed to be adjusted. Cool. All right, so we got spark now. Jeez, that took some time, huh? All right. Okay, we got spark now. You see that? Wow. Only took forever. So yeah, it took replacing the coil and messing with the points. So probably the old coil is probably fine, but all right, we have spark, we have fuel. There's no reason why this shouldn't just start up. So let me put you in wide angle. So yeah, there should be no reason for this to just not go whoop. So let's try it. awesome. Woo! Uh-oh. Oil coming out of somewhere. That's not good. Man, this thing was quick though. Oh, yeah. So yeah, that is not good. I went to sniff it and it didn't smell like any gas or anything, so it has to be water. You wouldn't be able to smell it. And yeah, I think it's just water, and it was low, so it wasn't overfilled, which was good. It wouldn't have hurt the engine. And it wasn't low enough to where it would hurt the engine. So it was just low enough where you would just have to add some more in. And yeah, this is kind of where things went for a turn here. So I will update you live, but yeah, it was leaking out pretty heavily. And yeah, I did a quick oil change, which I won't show you, but we put in some fresh oil into it and just kind of got it back into the garage there so we can go from there. All right, so this is where the FF just let us down, I suppose. So yes, there you see, it spilled all the oil out that I filled up, but I needed to change the oil and get a fresh oil in there to flush out the milky, watery oil, and this is where it sits. So overnight it leaked all its oil out, and I don't know, after researching, after doing everything, that I could do to look into this thing, I think we came up with the oil pan gasket. Hopefully that there's not a hole in the block, because that's also another possibility. I'm gonna rule that out though, and so the next step here to go further is to, well, start the diagnosing process. So it is definitely leaking out on the oil pan gasket. It is leaking all the way around. So it is leaking out on the non-oil filter side, the starter side. It is leaking out heavily. On the front of the engine, it's weeping out of the front oil pan seal, and then on the oil filter side, it is leaking, but not enough, but it is more than the front. So that's all I can see. I can't see the flywheel side. I can just see the other side. So the three sides, it is leaking very heavily, kind of, and then kind of. So yeah, not good. So I think it's a oil pan gasket. The next step from here that I want to show is doing a compression test, see what the compression is. We're hoping that it's in the 90s to 100s, because the acceptable compression is 75 pounds to 115 pounds of PSI. And after that, we will check the blow-by. Again, the factors that could lead into this, either the problem that this engine had before I got it, it could have had bad piston ring seals, and it could have been putting combustion pressure into the oil housing area, blowing out the oil pan gasket, and yeah, that would show low numbers on there, and that's why. Also, it could just be a 44-year-old oil pan gasket that could be 44 years old, like I mentioned, and yeah, it could just be old and need to be replaced. So regardless, the engine has to come out. So this is the fate of the FF now. So the engine is going to come out of this bad Larry. It should be easy. At least I'm hoping it should be easy. So got a battery on there, threw the new air intake housing on there. I still have to yet order a air filter for it. But when I was running it, I tested the hydraulics, those worked. Transmission obviously worked. I tested the PTO, that engaged and worked. So everything's working on here. The high and low works, everything works. And then, yeah, the engine is just suffering from probably a bad oil pan gasket. So the things that have to come off, there's some wiring in here. I'm sure it's just some connectors. Looks like everything's on connectors. Choke, throttle, fuel line, and then the 4 bolts holding it onto the frame. But as you can see, oh, you can't see. So as you can see, it is weeping out of the gasket there. If I can get this thing to focus on there. But yeah, it's weeping off the front of the gasket there. Looks like it's facing that way, yeah. And then over here, this is where all the Mayday happened, up in here. So it was, yeah, it was kind of, oh yeah, there's like no gasket material in there. So, oh. Yeah, see, I don't see a hole, but I think I see, yeah, what looks like to be a nest in there or something. Right? Or no, is that just the starter? No, I think there's a nest in there, so that's not good. Gotta make sure we clean that out. But yeah, it looks like there's a nest in there. That's not good. We gotta get that cleaned out. But the engine is coming out, and you can see, like, you can see gasket material coming out there, and then it disappears. So I'm a little worried that maybe it's blowing that out, because this is right where it was seeping out the hardest. I mean, you can see how wet it is and how wet the starter is. Hopefully it's not hurting the starter, but can you guys get in there? Can you see a hole in the block? No? Good. I hope not. So, I hope not. But yeah, so as you can see, it's weeping all the way around. So yeah, this has to come out. It's 4 bolts, I'm hoping. And yeah, there's some wiring over here, but that is where we're at with this right now. I am doing everything I can to do OEM. So if you're not aware, Cummins, the brand, engine brand, ended up buying the Onan brand, making Onan engines to this day. I think you can buy these brand new to this day, and they put them in generators. So Onan is owned by Cummins now, so you can get factory parts from Cummins. I just learned that, and with this being that much newer, I can actually get the stock oil filter. They still have that number in the Sears manual is still accurate, so you can definitely still buy that. This engine is a T260G engine. Good to know there. We'll get some manuals for that. And yeah, so and of course I'm missing the exhaust tin right here. I have that side, but I don't have this side, and that had all the engine serial numbers like this on it. Of course I'm missing that one, so I don't have that. But I do have the Sears manual for this, and I matched the model number to that manual, so I am getting part numbers off of that, luckily. But regardless, you do get to see this engine come out. So there's a drive shaft right here that has to come off the front there, 4 bolts on the engine, some wiring, hoses, and cables, and then take the firewall off and hope and pray that that's all. And maybe I'll get my engine stand or my engine hoist out of here, and we'll just engine hoist it up and put it on the bench. But that will be in a couple months. I was gonna tackle that this weekend, and I don't think that's gonna happen. So this is an absolute mess in here. I have projects on top of projects, and I need to dedicate some stuff to that. So that's going to be in a few months. I apologize, but yeah, this clip will be several months later, you know, that little thing. So yeah, I need to get organized, and I already got an engine project over there that's torn apart, and just to add another one, it's just going to be that much more confusing, excuse me. And I need to get organized. So TikTok is cool. They have a cool little, like the Home Depot HDX totes. They have a cool little storage shelves for them that you make out of 2x4. So I want to do that. Then I can put all my engine components and all my parts in there and be organized. So yeah, that will be the big change here. So the next clip will be when that happens. I think I'm gonna put it right here, and then I'm gonna get a new toolbox. That one's all broken, about 20 years old, 10 years old. And then that one is even older. It's an old Blue Point that I got recently, but it's old. And I'm probably gonna change over to a bigger roll cart. Corbin actually got one. It's a US General from Harbor Freight, and I actually fell in love with it. I'm gonna get the bigger one than what he has, and I'm just gonna consolidate both of these into that one. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing a huge change here and getting organized, get all the FF parts. Like I have so many FF parts over here. I need to get this wall drywalled, and I need to focus on organizing the shop before I get into an engine build. It is nice to know. So yeah, the next step on here, to get back on topic, the next step here is to start this up real quick, test if it has a lot of blow by, and if it does, we're gonna see what cylinder is blowing by, so we'll test compression. If this doesn't have a lot of blow by, so that means you could theoretically just rest that in here, and if it pops out, then it has a lot of blow by, or you can just feel. But yeah, if it has a lot of blow by, then we'll test compression on what cylinder. If it doesn't, then we'll test compression on each cylinder anyways. We're hoping nothing comes out of here. We're hoping that these are in the 90s for being how old it is. 80s would be fine too. But we're hoping these are in the 90s, and then hopefully it's just a bad gasket. And yeah, it'll be easy peasy, and we'll get this thing running and driving longer and more reliable. Hold up a minute. I still haven't mentioned the name on this bad Larry. So this is Francine, the FF24. So introducing Francine. I forgot to mention that. So this is Francine. Say hello, everybody. So yes, this is Francine, the FF24. Gorgeous. And the lights do work. Let's see if they'll light up. I didn't see it. If we do that and then that. The battery's pretty dead, so yeah, it just killed it, but they did work. So, and then gauge works too, the hour meter. So that's almost gonna be, I got it with 1098, so it's almost at 1099. So that's pretty cool. So, but yeah, anyway, name is Francine, and I'm hoping Francine, So I'm hoping Francine will do us right and not have a big hole in the block. Just have a just have an oil pan gasket being bad. So we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Shoo-wee. Look at it. It looks good. Looks real good. We're back to work. So I just need to do a couple tests here. So we're gonna fire this thing up real quick just for a second. We got to check pressures coming out of this. You hear that gurgling in there? And you see all the oil spraying on me? Yeah, that's not good. So we do have pressure coming out of there. Fired right up though. Didn't sound good. Alright, let's take our compression tool kit. Let's find an adapter that works. Okay, I got one that works. Let's get our adapter home. Alright, so a healthy engine, or the healthy engine specs for this is going to be let's see, 75 to 115. So that is going to be healthy numbers on here. So it's going to be upside down, but you should be able to read that. So let's see what we get. Now, I am feeling pressures coming out of there, so one of these should be bad. If that's the case, then it can be a easier fix than if it weren't to be. So right there we got 90. Well, you can't see that, but we got bang on 90 right there. So let's do that one more time. So, yeah, bang on 90, 89, 90. That is a healthy, acceptable, well in the numbers cylinder. So let's move on to the next one. So if this next one is like half of that, in the 40s, then we know we have a problem. And that's why we're getting blow-by through here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because we still have the tins on there. Alright. So let's see what this one is. Alright, let's see what that one is. We're hoping for a bad cylinder, believe it or not, because then it would make our job easier. Nope, that one's actually better. At like 91, 92. So yeah, don't know what else the blow-by would be caused by. So yeah, bang on 190 again. So yeah, these cylinders are good. They're right in a healthy spot. The manual says an acceptable compression for a T260G would be anywhere from 75 to 115. So I might have to get pliers to get that off. So yeah, that looks good. So yeah, we could do a leak down test, and that would pretty much what we did, but oh wow, we got that on there. That's good though. Yeah, but yeah, we could do a leak down test. Maybe it's leaking by, but I mean, that's why this thing's running so nice. I mean, it's got great compression. And that's what I was hoping for, 90s. All right, yeah, like I said, compression looks great. It's right in the middle of the road, looks good. Nothing to be worried about there. There is blow by, very little, I would say. Enough to be concerned though. I don't think any of my other engines have blow by, so that's something I'm gonna have to look into. Other than that though, I mean, clean bill of health right there. Besides the oil pan gasket, the really cool thing is it's been 3 or 4 days since I updated you last, and I have been ordering things straight through Cummins. I actually have been working with one of the parts guys at Cummins, and we are working together to get parts for this thing. And the numbers supersede to different numbers as the game goes, since this stuff is from the 80s. And I was able to cross-reference different numbers and get different parts. So there is an oil pan gasket on order, waiting for that to come in. I did get a oil filter. That number actually is still available. That number is still relevant to this day, which is awesome. It looks like Onan has not changed that number. Also, the air filter is on order through them. They actually have that in stock, which was really cool. So that number also did cross over to a different, newer number, but still roughly the same. The beginning actually was the same. The guy actually knew the beginning of the part number, started with a 140-1228 is the number for the air filter, which cross-reference to a newer number. So yeah, I'm still waiting on the oil pan gasket to come in, but the oil filter and air filter came in and they're ready to be picked up, but we're gonna wait for that oil pan gasket to arrive. Other than that, that's all I ordered through them. The next step now is to get this engine out. So I think I'm going to take the hood off. Enough bashing the hood. I really don't want to mess up this hood. It seems like it's fairly well good quality, no cracks in it, no nothing. So we'll make sure to get that out in one piece. I think take the front off, get these bars off the front here, take the firewall off, and yeah, take this engine out. It's gonna be some sort of a process. I think the real process is just wiring. Make sure that, I mean, you see the orange clip over there. We'll make sure that we take that off. We got 4 bolts on the drive shaft in the front there. We got 4 bolts holding the engine down there. So that'll be a different day. That won't be right now for me. For you, it will be in 2 seconds. But I think I'm gonna just disconnect the battery, get the battery out of the way, and then yeah, I think we'll go from there. And I think we'll start with taking the hood off, unplugging the wiring for that, and then take the dash off, the firewall, and yeah, or did I say dash? I'm sorry. Take the firewall off. So that's gonna be interesting. I wanna see how that works. And then we'll go ahead, take the air intake housing off, and that will lead us to like the plug wires, a bunch of this wiring in the loam, and disconnecting stuff, taking pictures of everything, and getting this engine out. So doing an oil pan gasket is gonna be crazy. Again, I just ordered going off of the superseded numbers. I don't necessarily know if that oil pan gasket is gonna be right. I don't know if that oil filter will be right, but this is just part of the game. You just order it, hope for the best. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We move on, we figure something else out, right? So without tearing this thing apart, we don't know. But if we can order things that might work for it, that would be perfect. Just in case it does work, we have it. If it doesn't work, we'll know why and we'll know what's supposed to be ordering. Because right now we are just blind and have no idea. So this thing is coming right along. Hopefully it's not gonna be too hard. I don't think it's gonna be too hard to get this out. But yeah, again, like I said, I'm gonna probably take about a week off or two. I need to get this place cleaned up for this kind of project. But I did promise you this weekend that I wanted to test the blow by and the compression. So yeah, to make a long story short, I mean, it has blow by and compression is amazing. So let's just go from there. Next step, next clip is getting this engine out. All right, so here we are at the point of a removal. I got Corbin on the way. There's no way I'm lifting this on my own. Let's get the light, fancy light over here. So yeah, here we go. Removed everything. These totes came in pretty handy. I found these on the side of the road, the Cummins boxes, but everything FF related is in this one. So that's pretty funny. Anyway, you know, temporary solution to a temporary problem of lack of storage. I will be fixing that. As you can see, it is bare. We're in the midst. I was gonna wait to tear this engine out before. I wanted to build this shelf system and I just couldn't wait. So knowing that this thing could be running this weekend, it was pretty enticing. So yes, it is during the week. I'm going to take it out tonight, and then Friday night after work, I will do the oil pan gasket. I may even do the oil pan gasket tonight. Who knows? And put it back together Friday night and have this thing running for Saturday. And we can get some yard maintenance projects all accomplished using the FF24. Maybe even slap the blower on here and see how that works. Put the mower deck on. I'm excited. I think after we replace this gasket, this thing will be 100% perfect and we can get this going. So I think the oil pan is 4 bolts, and we have the parts in there and the big tote over there. The shop is just a mess. And yeah, I think the cleansingness of the shop will be for the FF18. That's more of a more involved project. So, but I mean, this is more involved because we're taking the engine out. That one I don't have to. So yeah, we're saving 2 FFs here. That's the point, right? So I mean, the FF18 will see this eventually. I mean, the engine will eventually have to get pulled. So yeah, so I can't wait to take this out. I'm gonna take this out, put it right on the bench over there, clean the little spot, put this on there, and yeah, completely strip this down of tins and everything, clean it. I know there's a few mouse homes in there. And then, yeah, do the oil pan gasket, clean up the engine bay here. I see the oil everywhere. We'll get that spotless. We'll take the plow bracket off. It seems like every FF has one. Even the 18 over there has it. You can see it. So, I mean, that one has a plow, though. It came with the plow. This one even had everything for the plow, even the little thing that goes through here, but not the plow. So I suspect that this had a plow on it, and unfortunately, we didn't get it. Unfortunate. So, but I have one now, so I'm happy. But yeah, anyway. See, you said that about the mini bike, and yet it went together. Look at that. Can you tell it had a problem? Look at that, look. No, oh, no, I'm just kidding. I probably wouldn't touch that. Was it hard? Oh yeah, what the? Yeah, give her a good scoop.
All this dirt and glue. And some nesting.
Yummy. Oh, there we go. It's out. Yeah, here's the side you couldn't see. Yeah, getting that bolt out was a nightmare. Yeah. Is there really bolts down here? Oh, yeah. See a hole in there? You think it's just a gasket?
Probably.
Oh God, are those bolts? No. Oh yeah, look at all the crap in here.
Just needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's heavy.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be that color.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're still not getting it in there, by the way. Yeah, it's not supposed to be, you know, like...
What, that color?
Yeah, why is it that color now? It wasn't that color before.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, is this the other one?
Yeah.
This is,
There's two.
This is the 18.
This is the 24.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that color when we last, you know, messed around with this.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, well, all the bolts were loose, but here we go, our first Cummins part. But yeah, no, all the bolts were loose, but everything looks good inside, so. So we'll take a look at it. that works. So if you have a Onan T260G and you need an oil pan gasket, it's going to be a 0102-1387. So yeah, oh man, wow. All the bolts were loose. That's cool. I don't know how I'm going to get this in here though. That's the thing. Alright, so that's how you do a oil pan gasket replace. That was pretty easy, I guess. So, I guess I'm gonna end the update right here. I'm gonna look online, look up the specs of it, and see what foot-pounds those need to be torqued to, because you want to make sure that they're torqued to the correct amount of foot-pounds. So yeah, or by feel how many ugga-duggas. So I will come back with you. All right, so we've been hard at work getting this back together. We're pretty much there. So yeah, I'm pretty much there. Let's do a test fire, see what happens. Got oil like I showed you. Got the gas battery hooked up. Yeah, what could go wrong, right? I mean, it's already gone wrong up to this point, so. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. All right, so let me just give you a rundown of current events. So right after that, started it up, and the carburetor / fuel problems started to show itself. So I ended up getting this thing out of the garage, running it around, and I could just not get it to idle great, and it was just doing a bunch of stuff. And yeah, I ended up diving into the carburetor the next morning and I ended up getting it running much better. I ended up draining the fuel tank, completely cleaning it out. It did have stuff in the bottom, so we got that cleaned out. Ran a brand new fuel line up to a brand new fuel filter, and then up to the a pulse pump to the carburetor. So cleaned that all out, got that so it wasn't a problem. Still ran like crap, so that's when I dove into the carburetor, took the top piece off, dove into the bowl, and it was full of crap as well. So ended up cleaning that out, and there it was. It ran perfectly after that. So yeah, a lot of crap in the fuel system, a lot of like sediment and all that, just rusty, sandy crap that was in the bottom of a tank. It is a plastic tank, so no rust to have to worry about. So maybe just pour fuel and just, you know, not taking care of. So I ended up cleaning everything out, and yeah, it runs semi decent. Still having some problems. I think the carburetor is just tired after 1100 hours on it. So I am going to be diving into getting a new carb for it, or maybe just a rebuild kit. But I'm leaning towards a brand new carb just to not have to worry about it. So I've done that on many other machines. So that is kind of the decision I made on here, so that it won't ever have to be a problem. And I've been diving in, tuning it and everything into the carburetor, and it doesn't seem like I can get it right. So I'm just going to change it out and go with a new one. So I will definitely update you then on that. And let me get you some driving clips and everything of the current day. So yeah, cameras ended up dying after this clip, and yeah, just a lot of troubleshooting to try to get this thing running. And I already spent all day trying to get the engine back in and the oil pan gasket changed. And yeah, it was kind of frustrating that the carburetor was acting up and the fuel system was so gummed up. But you know, now seeing that, you know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was definitely the problem. So yeah, sorry to kind of lack of footage here. You know, the first running clip for me is always just so exciting that I kind of forget to record, because, you know, this thing's been sitting in my shop for months now, and I just want to get this thing running. So yeah, it doesn't run as great as I want it to, and there's still a bunch of stuff to do. We still have to dive into the transmission in this thing, so it is not quite done, not quite over yet. But let's jump right into the running and driving clip that I've been waiting for months. So here it is after a long time of working on it and going through it. We finally got it up. As you can tell, it is not running great. We are going to need a carb, either rebuild kit or a brand new carb, but here it is. So it's been some time since I've updated you. That clip I ended that night, and the carburetor was just not letting this thing run. I kind of got it out. It was just acting so funny. So I called it quits. It was late that night, and I ended up putting this back in the garage. And what I did is I ended up replacing the fuel line, cleaned the entire tank out, had a bunch of crap, sand, sediment, whatever you want to call it, just a bunch of crap, cleaned it out, redid a brand new fuel line all the way up to the pump here, a pulse pump, and then obviously ran that new line to the carburetor. Broke into the carburetor, had a bunch of that crap in the bowl, cleaned the bowl out, and it ran perfectly, just as you heard it. So it went from spitting, sputtering, barely running, couldn't make it 5 feet, to now running very good. It's been a couple weeks since then. I've been trying to dial this thing in kind of off camera, trying to do other things. So I brought this to my buddy in Massachusetts. I ended up mowing with this. You'll see those videos very shortly, like right after this video. But yeah, I brought it to my buddy's house so he could mow. We ended up playing with the spark plug gaps. We ended up cleaning out the carburetor more, and this thing now runs without any choke. So before it ran with some choke, now it runs with no choke. So we're dialing it in there, we're getting it there. It's not perfect. We don't have the ears to tell if it's lean, too rich, too lean, to this, to that. So if you have an ear for this stuff and you want to personally message me on my Gmail, there's a Gmail linked to this, so just email me and we can start talking. I got a few buddies that know the carburetors and how they're supposed to sound, and it's like crazy what they can do. So this thing is dirty, greasy. Now that I know this thing runs great, it runs absolutely perfectly, it is time for a paint job. So this ugly flat gray that it is, it's supposed to be the silver like that, but it's this flat gray. So let's get the wheels painted, let's get this thing painted. You will see that in the future. That is the next step for work. I still have a bunch of stuff coming in for other stuff, especially with air intake stuff. So I have more parts coming. Again, there will be a future video on that too. But I just wanted to update you. It runs, drives great. If you want to see it truly running and driving great, that will be in the next videos of testing. I got the plow, I got the deck, I got the blower, I got a bunch of things that I want to test. Videos will be coming out shortly on that as well. So just mind you that as the order goes, so like you'll probably see the deck, then the plow, and then the blower, like you'll see all that coming out in every video. The carburetor is getting better and better. So yeah, so expect the sounds to get better and we start playing with them. I'm gonna do a fresh set of plugs and other stuff. So if you have any suggestions, just let me know. I would greatly appreciate that. The carburetors for these T260G engines are just insane. I mean, I'm looking at one from Onan themselves, which is now Cummins. Cummins bought Onan. I mean, that's $300. So let's try to find something cheaper than that. If you got one sitting around for a 24 horse Onan, I do not, and that's my problem. I do not want to buy a brand new carburetor that was meant for like a 20 horse, because I feel like that's jetted for the 24 horsepower. So if you got a 24 horsepower or know a link to a 24 horsepower carburetor, let me know for sure. And I will greatly appreciate that, shout you out in the video. But yeah, this thing is an absolute animal. It's ginormous. I've been running it for 2 weeks now, and this thing is awesome. The next step is definitely to do the transmission and all that. Like I said in the beginning of this video, the transmission has to come out. I got to fix a few things. I got to replace the oil and the filter, and I got an axle tube housing that's broken as well that needs to be fixed. So again, it wasn't stopping us from running or driving and doing all that, just limit the possibilities with the 3-point. I can't run a 3-point with that damaged axle tube, and so that's obviously the next step. I want to get into that. I've reviewed all the things that I have already. Future me, it's freaking amazing, man. And then I got the 3-point. I want to do 3-point stuff. So category 0, how fun, great, it's awesome, can't wait, but I can't use it until it gets fixed, right? So, and then tires a big thing, but I think tires and paint will be its own video. I definitely want to go all out. You don't see too many of these, so I want this thing to look museum quality. But that will be, I want to test this thing thoroughly first. But yeah, if you need to do a engine swap, or a engine needs to come out and do stuff, super easy to do. And by the way, it's been running for 2 weeks. Can't tell in there, but it is dry. I mean, that it was definitely that oil pan for sure, and the bolts were loose. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know I certainly enjoyed getting this thing running. It definitely took a little bit longer than I expected, but it's here now, and we're gonna just start using the heck out of it and start getting this thing running and doing some yard work. So I'm excited. There's plenty to do, and yeah, I'm excited for this. So I think you already saw that the FF18 joined the collection. You should see that before this video, and then after this video we'll get working on that FF18, get that run and see what that's all about. So as always, you know the drill. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, and as always guys, I will catch you in the next vlog day.